Hey there, thanks for listening to So You Want to Get on Stage. I'm Bonnie Lefrak and I'm interviewing my favorite clients and coaches. I hope you enjoy. Welcome back to Want to Get on Stage. I am excited to be talking to one of my clients, Mikayla Cusson, and I have so many questions for her. We'll just get started with Mikayla introducing herself, the usual age, background, how many seasons. Go right ahead, and then I'm going to dig into the really tough questions.
Awesome. All right. So I'm Mikayla. I'm actually a local Worcester chiropractor at Worcester Family Chiropractic. I've done 2 seasons so far with the Fitness Asylum. My first one was in the fall, and it was really just to dip my toes in the water, get exposure, see if I liked the sport. And then I instantly fell in love with it and had to come back for a second season. And not only did I do one show that second season, but I did 2 shows, and I'm forever grateful that I had that experience. And I'm just looking forward to the future now.
Yeah, it's funny because I think a lot of people do exactly what you're talking about. Oh, I'm going to try it, right? I'm going to do it this one time and see. But would you agree it really wasn't until your second show where you're like, oh, now I totally get it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The first one, I just stuck with the transformation category, immediately got off stage and was just like, wow, I worked so hard and I got 5 minutes of glory. And I wish I did more categories, more time. The second show, immediately started thinking about things, but still had a world of unknown that I was working through. And it really wasn't until the second season that I felt like I was super comfortable and figuring out the process and what I was doing, and had even more confidence just to continue on with the next step with it.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think it is a process that as long as you're willing to like let it be awkward or willing just to not know, I think it's
Yeah.
hard because you're obviously a very accomplished woman. You already work out, you have a lot of discipline, you have a routine, and this was just something you'd never done before.
Correct. Yeah. I've been working out since I was in high school. And honestly, probably before that, I've always done sports for as long as I can remember. My parents were CrossFit coaches in high school. They ran my sports conditioning teams. I played college lacrosse. I personally coach CrossFit now and still participate in it. When I was in college, I competed in powerlifting. And so I've been around the block a few times in the fitness industry and have always wanted to be exposed to a wide variety of things. And I've had friends compete in bodybuilding shows, and I've always watched them and always secretly from the side have been a little jealous, but also so scared of the unknown of, can I step on stage when you're in the type of sports like lacrosse and powerlifting and CrossFit? It's not about the glam and the bedazzled, and all that stuff was so foreign to me. But that's what I secretly loved. That was the best part. The hair, the makeup, the bikini was just like the most fun part. And that is one thing that I think was really surprising to me. I wasn't sure that I was going to enjoy that. And it felt like I became a whole new persona. Like Mikayla on stage is a totally different person than like Mikayla in real life.
I think that's really valuable actually for, and it's interesting. I've had there's two kinds, maybe there's three. There's someone like you who is an athlete, who's done a lot of sports, who likes sports, likes trying different things, and that's been a part of your identity this whole time. I have had clients that swing completely to the opposite, not athletic at all. So it's so funny and then there is the in between. There's the dabbler, right? The dabbler.
Yeah.
I'm probably more of a dabbler. I played softball, but I didn't do it like in college. I did know. And it's weird because I think coaches sometimes have that intuition, but I did know, okay, I'm taking this, Mikayla. Like I'm looking at
Mhm.
the roster. I'm taking this girl. I sight unseen. Like I didn't never saw you, but I'm like, I'm going to take her based on her age and based on where she lives and based on that you were referred by someone.
Yes. Yeah, I was referred by my gym acquaintance, Nicole Evaneski. Shout out to her. She had got her pro card, I believe, her first season in the bodybuilding and figure category. And yeah, I was watching her and actually like coaching her kind of like more so on the CrossFit side of things. as she was changing and going through it, I was just able to ask her so many questions, like an endless amount of questions after every single class I saw her. I was like, what are you doing now? And what does this look like? And what is your regimen? And who's your coach? And she only had phenomenal things to say. And that gave me the little extra boost of just her kept saying, you should do this. You should do this. Like, I know you can do this. And eventually I was like, you know what? I can do this. And I should step outside my comfort box and just rip that band-aid off. So the referral part was a huge help as well, too, just knowing someone locally. And so now whenever I talk about it and people ask me questions, the conversation always ends with, you can do this too. It's not super scary and you should get outside your comfort zone. If you're asking me questions about it, that means you're interested. And if you're interested, just do it.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Just do
Yeah.
it.
Like anything else, right? It's we can easily overthink things, right? And be like,
Hmm.
I need more research. I need more time. I need to ask more questions. And it's you could, right? You could. I've had clients who've told me like, I literally stalked your website for 5 years. I'm like, that's a long time, right? Think about
That is a long time.
all that you accomplished in a year. What could you do in
Hmm.
5 years? I do appreciate Nicole. Nicole is one of our most favorite clients for all the reasons. Like she's just very bubbly and personable. She's very gung ho. She's very like easy to coach, very coachable.
Yeah.
Okay. And that she was willing to share everything with you and help you come into our orbit. Like as soon as I saw, okay, Nicole's referred this person, I'm like, I'm taking that person. I'm taking that person. I know this is going to be good. And
Yeah.
I did. I knew that. And I just think, and I do want to include this one piece of it. Natural bodybuilding is it's a growing sport again, which is great. I love that it is because I would say 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, it was really just more of that. It's a fringe sport, right? As you're like coming up doing lacrosse and doing all these other things, you're not like, ooh, bodybuilding is next. Like, it wasn't on your dance card, right? It seemed like it wasn't open to just anyone. General population people are raising their hand to jump into this sport. It seemed, oh, is that like with steroids or what's that all about? So for a while, you could see that natural bodybuilding, a small sector. A lot of people like yourself and me who work
Hmm.
out say, oh, I love like muscles or I love seeing that definition. And if only I could diet or if only I want all the things that we didn't know. What's been so interesting is that the categories have expanded. And I think the bikini category was just a huge home run for natural bodybuilding to bring in women like yourself who are athletic, who are in
Yep.
the gym, who, have various degrees of fitness. And the bikini category is a widespread category. You can get all different kinds of body types in there. And I love that. It has, however, then become the most competitive category.
Yes, because there's so many people now within those categories as well too. Because I remember when I was going through that first season with you, I was going back and forth because I felt like I didn't really quite fit all of the bikini criteria. And then I also didn't really quite meet all of the figure criteria either. And I was just kind of living in this like limbo land of like, where do I really belong in this like sport and in this field? And I loved the poses of figure, but I also loved, again, like the glitz and the glam of the bikini part of it. And hopefully you're leading to the wellness category. And that I feel like that was something that I didn't even know existed my first season. I just knew that I was in this weird transition of my body could sway in either direction. And then when I started talking about that more out loud, when people were like, you should do figure, you should do bikini, and constantly hearing that feedback, but then also knowing realistically, okay, where do I truly belong? And someone briefly just shouted out the wellness category, and I started doing more research, and I was like, wait, this is me. This is my entire like life. I've always been more dominant and stronger in the leg, but then I also get to still have those fun bikini poses as well too. And so I was just so excited that wellness was able to become a category in the Spring Mania show because I was dying for it for the whole season.
Yes, this is right. Yes, I put the bait out there. You're like, is this where we're going? We're going here. And it is exciting. For the longest time, even as a competitor, I'd been involved with the INBF and the WNBF. And so there's been a major shakeup in natural bodybuilding. The major shakeup is the ANBF is this up and coming federation, and it is growing. It is getting more promoters and more competitors like yourself who are like, oh, wait, wellness? Okay, what is that all about? And so when we joined on really with the ANBF, and I'm looking at all the categories, I'm like, okay, wellness. I don't really, I didn't know, but I did know the criteria enough to go, okay, Mikayla,
Mhm.
this is what we're doing. And you're like, yes, this is what we're doing. And Spring Mania, I'm telling you, and I get it because a category is a little bit new and a lot of competitors, even people who've competed before, they're trying to figure out, and I'm all for it. I am all for figuring out what do you enjoy, what category is the best fit. Let's try bikini, let's try figure, let's try it all. But when it came down to it, and a lot of people threw their hats in the wellness. And I asked a lot of people to say, hey, you know what? Let's give it a go. It's a new category for us as a sanctioned show. It's a new category for me as a coach. As much as I've seen it out there, I've seen that IFBB level, which is like way out there. I love the direction the ANBF is going just as an organization, but also now we're going to have, like yourself, I'm putting the punchline in. Spoiler alert, Mikayla became a wellness pro.
Also true. Yes.
Spoiler alert. So it was the realization that, hey, we as an organization offer it. Hey, I look at you as my client that I see, and we're watching the changes, and I know your body type, and you have a ton of muscle, and you're in great shape, a great condition. It checked all the boxes for me. And so I was like, a little bit, I'll confess to podcast listeners and anybody who are putting this on you. I'll confess to everyone. I sat here, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I have it. I was like, so like almost like I can't wait because this woman, Mikayla, is wellness. This is
Mhm.
almost, I don't know, like mining for gold and being like, oh wait, it's right here all
Yeah.
along in front of
Uh,
us.
all the hype, the compliment. I know, I was like all the hype, all the compliments. But yeah, I knew as soon as I hit that first wellness pose when I was just practicing and watching the videos, and I hit that front pose, and I was like, that's it. That is the pose that I like. I'm comfortable in it. I feel confident in it. And I just, again, like you talked about, where you're like, I've got it. That was my kind of like moment as well, too. I sent that first random video of myself practicing in my office, nonetheless. And I was like, I think this is what I'm doing. And I rewatched it back and again, just knew, again, the confidence skyrocketed through that, which was very exciting to see because I feel like it carried with me through stage as well, too, which
I
was fun.
honestly, I'm getting a little, I love all my clients. So I'm not trying to be like, no, I don't know who else competed. It was the Mikayla show the whole time. I'm invested in every client. And when we have that match where we're like, oh, wait, we like unlocked something here. Now I'm like, okay, I know and again, our show, the Spring Mania that we, are promoting, I'm not a
Yeah.
judge. I can't judge it. I can't be like, oh, score sheet, like it's got to be Mikayla. But I was sitting there going, if it's not Mikayla, all these judges are fired. But yes, I'm your hype girl, hype coach, 1,000%. When we got to this point where we're like, this is what we're doing, this is the direction, this is you 1,000%, and that you were rewarded. Like for
Hmm.
all of the years in the gym, you don't have to try to make yourself fit a category that isn't a fit.
Yeah, because I feel if I try to go like more figure, the upper body development quite wasn't what like the expectations or what the judges are looking for. And I could have maybe made that work, but it would require a lot more work and dedication and commitment. And maybe I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much and I wouldn't have had as much fulfillment because I was just, again, trying to fit a category that wasn't quite where I wanted to be. And so not only is it nice to have a home, but to also know, again, like I can still push myself in this direction, but I'm not dying to get there either. And I feel like
Correct.
that sometimes in the bodybuilding world is like a really big stigma. The number of times that people would be like, oh, you're doing a show, you must be starving. And I'm like, whoa, time out. I am eating way more food than I actually typically ever have. It just happens to not be fast food and calorically dense. It's whole foods, it's fruits, it's vegetables. You have no idea how many vegetables you could eat to eat like a certain number of like macros or following the meal plan template. At no point in time do I feel like I am starving and malnourished. I'm sleeping better, I'm happier. Sure, you get a little brain fogged by the end when you're kind of pulling things back a little bit more, but that's just a minor week and a half part of the sport. It just is what it is. But up to that point, it is way more food, way more exercise in the sense of I'm outside, I'm enjoying walks with my dog to get cardio in. Where again, the old stigma is hours on the treadmill with your hoodie on and everyone's just miserable. And I felt like I'm living my best life. I love prep.
That is something that with almost every single client that I've interviewed so far, that has come up, right?
Yeah.
What people think or what people assume that you must be starving to death. And my philosophy has always been, and what this team is built on is, yeah, I do want you to be successful on stage, but I need to do it with you in a way that's healthy and that we don't compromise your hormones or your future getting
Hmm.
hurt or being like so deprived and all of that mentally and physically. But yeah, it's so interesting the stigma. And I am a big proponent in we work together so that you can eat as much as you can and lose weight versus let's eat as little as possible and see what happens. It's like FAFO, fuck around and find out. Like I I've already been like personally that was my experience as a competitor and it hurt. It's not good. You can't keep going in the sport if you do it that way. And so for you, you're right. Could we have done figure? Could we go further in bikini? It would require maybe a place we should not go to with
Right.
somebody who has this amount of muscle. We'd be risking a lot. I wouldn't want to risk that for you.
Yeah, and it is so interesting too, like thinking about like unhealthy ways and as like my specialty is women's health. So being able to also maintain my like professional philosophies and what I like to teach to women and especially because I love working with youth athletes. That's my favorite population, female youth athletes, teaching them about their bodies, menstrual cycle, and where the first thing you said was hormone health, and that was one thing when I was talking to Nicole that was making me a little bit more nervous was what if I get so lean that I do lose my cycle, or what if I am so hungry again that I feel like I have thinning hair again, like things that come with malnourishment. And she was like, no, when you're eating this healthy, she's like, you don't feel like that because it's again, it's not processed junky foods that you're eating, you're truly nourishing your body, you're just like combating it in like different ways. And so that made me a lot more comfortable going into that as well too, knowing, all right, I can do this in a way that meets my like health philosophies and health goals, but also I can look lean AF and feel good about it.
I think that's really important, right? That it is a match for your like personal values. That's important, right? You can't sign up for a program or a coach and be like, "Ooh, I don't know. That's I'd be like I don't know if that's for me. That's risky or that's going to hurt me or I'm unsure or what's going to happen after or is this person even qualified to make these suggestions?" What was in looking back, is there anything that was surprising at all? Anything like that surprised you about competing now that you have some shows under your belt and some seasons and a pro card?
Yeah. What would everything all the time? No, I just think the thing that surprised me the most, I guess outside of again like beating the stigmas of all like the old school bodybuilding mentality was just the support that I had from not just you personally as a coach because you were my coach, but also the other coaches being able to have the posing like workshops every weekend. That's a huge thing and a huge, I love being a team member and a part of a community. I'm a pretty social person. So being able to have that was really surprising because I feel like, again, not to backtrack to stigmas, but bodybuilding, it's an individual sport and it can be a lonely sport. And sure, you're competing against your friends, but at no point in time did I ever feel like there was drama because of it. It was one of my closest friends now, Sam Collins, another little shout out to her, another FA team member. We competed against each other constantly, every category back to back, but we were each other's like when someone was in a back pose and we were standing in a back line, like we were smiling and nodding to each other, and it's like, you got this. And so watching that level of support as a competitor, but a teammate was something that blew my mind. And I feel like you don't find that, especially with women.
Yeah, and that's important too. It's funny, in some way, I'm sure in some ways you were like a mentor to Sam because you'd already competed. Like this was her first season. And so having someone, and like you guys were like the Bobbsey twins, right? Like these two like younger, muscular, like athletes, right?
Yep.
And that was another bond why I think you guys became friends. And you're like my little bookends. I'm like, I just love them both. And it is great to make friends. I think it's important to make friends and be part of a community and have it. I think we try to do a good mix of, hey, we're online, but hey, we're in person, and hey, you're going to get all these different levels of support. If you had to, in wrapping this up, if
Yeah.
there's anybody who's out there listening, what would you tell them if their like finger maybe is hovering over the should I, like, I'm so close to signing up. What would you say?
I would say you can do much harder things than you think you possibly ever could. And that if that finger is hovering, you're already in it. So just click it. Just
Yeah.
do it.
I do. I think Nike, right? Nike been around for 30 plus years. Like the just do it. I do understand, but what if like all the things and
Yeah.
the best way to be successful, to get experience, to hone this is to just do it because to your point, you needed more than one season. This isn't I'm just going to hit
Absolutely.
it out of the park from hi, nobody knows who I am and I'm just going to do it. And you know what? For those women who might have gone pro their first season, it's hard. It's like a whole other like level of pressure where it's like you just don't have enough experience competing and being on stage and being on different stages. Like you
Yes.
had enough experience to be like, okay, I actually know I have this.
Yes, I agree too. It can definitely be very like intimidating for sure. And it will always be intimidating. I think everyone can attest to this backstage. There's a brief moment where you black out for a second and you're not really sure what's happening. And then you walk off stage and you're like, holy, I just did that. Like I did that. And if you're someone hovering over that button, they always say, you never regret a workout. I promise you'll never regret a season. You will always walk off that stage feeling so accomplished and proud of yourself, and that there is no person other than yourself who can give you that feeling.
That is so true. I so appreciate you. I am your hype girl for sure. Like just every time I just think about watching you on stage, I'm like, I'm so excited. Here's to many more wellness competitions that we're going to do. Thanks for spending your lunch hour with me, and I will see you on the social media.
Yes, thank you so much, Bonnie. I had a great time today.
Bye.